Hi, my name is Ariane Studenfield.
Hi, I'm John Uera.
Hi, I'm Mary Grace Sandstate, and we are occupational therapy students from Western New England University.
First off, we would like to thank Unlimited Wellness and Single Handed Solutions, LLC for collaborating with us.
We also wanted to thank Handspring Clinical Services for partnering with us for this program.
And we hope you enjoy the virtual-based adaptive sports program. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lucy Lomax.
And I'm Heather Thamer.
And we're here today to record some upper extremity limb loss limitation yoga for you. So everything that we do today is really going to be focused on moving from the core, because whatever your limb limitation is on the upper extremity, if you move from the heart center, all right, so we're talking right here at the heart center, your chest bone and your collarbone. So if you lift those up, then that means you're going to put the shoulder blades on the back, and whatever is going on in the arms is like secondary. So we want to be moving from here and then soften the ribs back. And that's going to help keep the core engaged. And it doesn't matter what's going on with the rest of the limbs. We're working more on what's called the axial skeleton. So your spine, your core, and moving from that strength. All right, so that's what we're going to do today. And so as we start, just take a moment. I'm standing in mountain pose. We'll talk about that in a minute. But and Heather is...
I'm seated in mountain pose. So if you're sitting in a chair, so you're welcome to come to standing, or you're welcome to sit in a chair and have your sit bones close to the front edge of the chair so that your back is independent of the back, and that just helps to work the core muscles a little bit more. And then you can lift up through your heart, broaden through your collarbones, and have that nice space at your throat.
Good. And the same thing for standing mountain, feet hips distance apart, the outer foot lining up with the outer hip, or whatever limb available to you that you have. You want to be symmetrical, sort of, okay? And then standing upright, heart lifted, ribs softened back so that they're not pushed forward, and that's standing mountain pose. All right, so just for a moment, just close your eyes or softly focus them just a few feet in front of you, and just take a breath or two in through your nose and out through your nose. Just becoming aware of this wonderful breath that feeds us all the time. And in yoga, we want to engage the breath a little bit more. So just a nice inhale through the nose, a nice exhale through the nose, which just brings you present to today, just being right here, right now. All right, and then from mountain pose, we're now going to start with just some range of motion in the upper limb area. All right, so whether it's seated or standing, take your arms out to the side or whatever limb's available to you. Think of moving from your armpit and from the shoulder socket. So if you don't have any limb, you're moving from the upper chest, yeah? And then you take the whatever's available out to the side. We're going to make the motions of little circles, small circles, sort of towards the back, just working into the shoulder joint, all right? And then go in the other direction. Good. And then you can bring your just relaxed hands and arms by your side. And then just do a few little shrugs. So on the inhale, shrug your shoulders up towards your ears, but not jamming the back of the neck. And then exhale, release. Good. Inhale up. And one more time. Inhale up. And one more time. And now do a little bit of moving back, yeah? Sort of what I call the head extender move, yeah? So, and you can get a little fun, you know, you're moving a little bit, yeah. Any way that feels good to you. All right, and then maybe move both of them back a little bit. We don't really need to do much of this because we sit like that all day long. So opening up the chest is what we want to work on here. So moving back, yeah? All right, and then once you've done that, I'm going to do something called empty coat sleeves. And again, no matter what's available for you, you're just going to move sort of to let whatever limb is available sort of relax. And this is a little bit of an opening. You can do it on the chair. You can do it standing. Okay, good. All right, then come on back to the center. All right, and we're gonna do something we call hugging yourself, yeah? So inhale, take your upper limbs wide. All right, then as you exhale, right arm on top, left arm underneath, and hug yourself. Inhale, exhale, right arm underneath and hug. All right, so we're opening up the upper back here and the chest. Inhale, opening up. Exhale, upper arm on top, upper right arm on top. Good. Inhale, out to the side, and right arm underneath. Good. One more time. Inhaling, opening. Exhaling, a gentle hug to open the upper back. Inhale, opening the chest, right arm underneath, and exhale, a gentle opening of the upper back. Good. Inhale, take your arms out wide again, and exhale, bring your hands and arms down. Do you think of anything else for shoulder openers?
No, that
All
sounds
right,
good.
so then why don't, next we're going to do something familiar probably to many of you, or maybe not. It's called cat-cow pose. And so Heather's going to demonstrate it on the chair first, and I'm going to show you how to do it standing.
So in the chair, you take your mountain pose, which we demonstrated before. So you have your sit bones near the front edge of your chair, and you can have your feet forward of your knees a little bit. And you could have one hand, both hands, whatever's available to you, resting on your thighs. And then the movement is going to come from your sternum, from your heart. And so you're going to let your heart lift, take your shoulders back. And then instead of letting the rib cage pull out so much, think about keeping your heart lifted, but drawing the ribs in. And this also is a wonderful way to strengthen your back muscles. So this is called cow pose. And then from here, we draw the front ribs towards the back body. You can release the neck and lengthen through the back of the neck. And this is cat pose. And then we'll link that with our breathing. And then Lucy's going to show this sequence in standing position.
And so I'm doing it while she's doing it. So on the inhale, I'm opening up the chest again. This is a little bit of a back bend. On the exhale, I'm not collapsing. I'm keeping the heart open, which is really important for what we're doing today. But right at the ribs here, I'm softening them back a little bit. Okay, so inhale, cow, the back bend. Exhale, a little bit of the side ribs back for cat. And squeezing the block is what I'm doing here. When you squeeze the block between your upper and your thighs, that helps you to keep the pelvis neutral. Yeah, so I'm squeezing the block. Inhale, a little bit of a lift. It doesn't have to be big. Exhale, a little bit of mostly right in here, like a little bit of a cat back right there. And so that's your cat cow. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Now, one other way you can do it is, again, depending upon what's going on in your upper extremity, you could also do it with sort of your sternum resting on a chair, and then you can inhale, do a back bend, exhale with a little cat, inhale, exhale. So can you see the movement is in the back, mid-back, and in the front. That's what we're doing. So any of those that would work for your body. All right, and then that's cat-cow. So that opens up the big muscles of the shoulder girdle, and it starts to open up the pelvic girdle, which is all really, really good.
Wonderful for the spine.
Yeah. All right, so now, well, since I had the chair, downward facing dog is the next one. And now if you have your prosthetics on, you can do downward facing dog with your hands to the ground. All right, and so let me just show you that. If you like to wear your prosthetics for yoga, and oftentimes we found that many of the amputees would prefer not to put them on, but if you do have them on and want to have them, then this is downward facing dog. So you're in a V, can you see? And now you can do this if you have forearms. You could do this on your forearms. And if you have, say, one that's above the elbow, if it's comfortable, you could rest the residual arm on a block here. So you could do downward facing dog from that. But the other way that you could do it, again, depending on where you are, you could do similar to what we did in cat-cow. And again, you would have, and I'm taking my arms to the side just so that you get the idea that you're lifting the chest. And this is how you could do a little bit of downward facing dog. So this is a nice big getting into the leg, lengthening the spine, strengthening the core, and opening the heart. All
So
right, and on
that's,
the chair.
Lucy just demonstrated the mat version and standing using the chair. So if you prefer to sit in the chair, then you could, again, from mountain pose, that's one of our base poses that we come into it a lot of poses from. You're gonna bring your sternum forward, and then again, whatever's available to you, one arm, both arms, you're gonna reach your arms out in front of you. And then as you take your hips back and you're lengthening through your side body, you can take your gaze down towards the floor, keep your jaw relaxed, and stay here for maybe 1 or 2 breaths. This is very invigorating to the side body and it strengthens the core. And then you could even take the heart up and the hands up slightly and then come back to your mountain pose.
Can you show them from the side too?
Yes, sorry. So from the side, it should look like this. So I'm bringing my heart forward, my arms come forward, and then I'm keeping the back of my neck long here. So I'm not dropping my head, but I'm really focused on plugging the shoulders back and keeping the neck long, which again helps to strengthen the back and the core. And then
And see, she was in that beautiful V. Do that again real quickly. See, look at that lovely V. So that's the same V as if you were on the mat. So you actually have to work harder sitting in a chair sometimes than you do on the mat, just so that you know. Okay, it's not like baby stuff. Yeah, we're working hard here. Awesome. Good. So this downward facing dog. All right. So let's do a side stretch. I'm going to show you standing again first. Because many people like to stand. So now, again, depending on what goes on, and we don't need to keep repeating that, you'll know we're moving, everything that we're moving, again, is from the side, from right here. This is your shoulder joint. We want to be moving, and think of the armpit too. So you're moving from the armpit, because you might not have a shoulder joint, yeah? So you're going to move up, and then it's a side movement, yeah? So I'm going to lean over to one side. Now, if you have a residual limb, you can take that up if that feels good. If you have one hand, you can have one hand on the side with the elbow back. That's going to keep this open. So you can do what you need, yeah. And then you do it to each side. So inhale, lift this right arm if you're coming up. Exhale, over to the left. Good, inhale, come back up, right arm down, left arm up. And exhale, over to the right. Good, inhale all the way back up, left arm down, right arm up, and exhale to the left. Good, inhale, come all the way back up, bring your hands and arms down, roll your shoulders back, which always feels good in between your feet. So you can see what Heather was doing on the chair and what we were doing standing, very similar. You can even do it seated. I'll just show you really quickly here. And if you like to sit, you could do over to the side. Good. Inhale and exhale to the side. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the side. And can you see the whole time the heart's lifting? Inhale to the center. Exhale to the side. So you get a different sensation whether you're doing it standing, seated, or seated on the ground or the chair, but it all is good. It's opening up these the rib cage here so that you can breathe more, because oftentimes we're so congested in the top and so tight in the neck. So we're getting all this open and this breathing space open as well.
it's wonderful.
Yeah, which is really good.
Yeah.
All right, so we did cat-cows, we've done side
Do a little
stretches.
warrior 2.
Yeah, let's do a little warrior 2.
Okay.
All right, so warrior 2. Yeah.
So Lucy will show you standing, and I'm going to be doing warrior 2, which is essentially the same pose, but just in the chair.
All right, we can move this up. Okay, so warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2 in Sanskrit, which probably not many people will know, but that's okay. All right, so now wide stance, how wide? You just, what is comfortable for you? You want to take the legs as wide as you can to be comfortable. If you have them too close, it's hard to do this pose and go into it with any depth, which is what we're getting the legs strong to support the upper body as well. All right, so here, I'm going to step the left heel back to open up this left hip. I'm going to turn the right foot out to 90 degrees. All right, and then I open the heart. And then as I exhale, I'm going to press into the back leg, bend the front knee, and again, whatever you have available to you, extend if you have a residual limb in front and back. If not, just open the chest and look over your right shoulder and arm. Okay, so this is warrior 2, and Heather's doing it in the chair. Are you doing it now?
Yeah,
Good.
so instead of having my arms extended, I've got my hands resting on my
Excellent.
hips, and I'm keeping my chest lifted.
Yeah.
And then, if it's comfortable to straighten the left leg, like we did, you could do that, but you could also keep your knee bent and keep your feet parallel if that's more comfortable for your hips.
Yeah.
And we'll stay here for 1 or 20
breaths?
minutes.
Oh, okay. 1 or 2 breaths. Okay, fine.
1 or 2 breaths.
1 or 2 breaths. Good. Good. Inhale. I'm going to come back up, press into the leg, turn the feet parallel. We'll do the other side so that you're even. So yoga is about being even, right? So you'll know in asymmetrical poses, we're going to do each side. So if you liked it, you get to do it again. If you didn't like it, you get to do it again. All right. So step the right heel back to open the right hip, turn the left foot out 90 degrees. Good. Inhale, just open your heart. And then as you exhale from that opening, press into the right leg and bend the left knee. You want to make sure the left knee doesn't come forward of your left ankle. That's hard on your knee. So you want the knee over the ankle or slightly back. So if you didn't take a wide stance, you come up a little higher and don't go so deeply bending this knee. Yeah, so see what's comfy. Then open your arms to open your heart. Okay, so again, if arms aren't available, you're going to open the chest. You're going to open the shoulder joint. So you can, if I don't have any arms, this is where I am. I'm right here with the heart open. Now, what can happen when you open the heart is that you poke the ribs forward. So you soften the ribs back. So imagine they're on a tray, you're taking the rib cage back. Woohoo! Say hi to your core. Good. On your inhale, press into the left leg, come back up, turn your feet parallel. And I'm going to step in or squiggle in, and then Heather is going to do something similar, I think. All right, so that was Virabhadrasana Warrior 2. All right, now Warrior 1. So Warrior 2, your hips and heart are facing more forward. In this one, as your legs are apart. This time the legs are going to face forward as well as your hips apart. All right, so if I'm going to stand at the front of the mat in mountain pose. And as Heather says, this is our main pose. It's from where we move to move the whole body. Why? So that we stay in alignment and our breath moves and our muscles and bones and joints are working best. All right, so now from mountain, I'm going to step this left leg back, place the heel on the ground, and my hips and my heart are facing forward. Take a nice breath in, and as I exhale, I'm going to bend this right knee. So before we were out lateral to the side, now we're facing forward. And once again, you can open the heart, and if there's a limb available, you can take the arms up, you can take them out to the side, you can do sort of a modified, what we call cactus pose, or you can take the arms forward. And again, if there's no limb, then you just lift the heart. You're right there. Now, the balancing is to squeeze the legs together so that you're nice and anchored in the lower body to keep this upper body. Good.
And I'm demonstrating in the chair. For instance, if you are, if it's more comfortable to stay in mountain pose and have your legs like I've got mine, with your thighs parallel with each other, your hips are still squared forward, just like Lucy's. They're still squared forward, so you still have that nice alignment through your hips. You're strengthening your legs in this position. If you even imagine that you have this imaginary block between your thighs and you're hugging in, the muscles are hugging into your joints and your bones, and that's strengthening your muscles. And so, you come into that version, Lucy was saying that you could do different things than, with your arms if you want. Now, another version of this is moving to the side. I find it easier to move to the side, and if you have a block or even a blanket, you had your left foot forward, Lucy?
I had my right foot forward. I was mirroring.
Right, okay, so I've got so you can see I've got my foot forward, my knee is bent, and this is very gentle on the knee joint too if you do it this way. And then my other knee is,
And you could take this back some, because
she's helping me work there.
I'm getting to work that leg. So you can vary this depending on where you are. You could have the knee underneath of the hip, or you could take it a little further back and say hi to the hips. Yeah.
If you don't have a block, you could use a blanket, right? A pillow. So it's just nice to have sometimes that support. And then, you could lift the heart, soften through the ribs, and then lift from your shoulders, lift your collarbones, broaden your collarbones, and then you could, do something with your arm, one arm, whatever.
Very good. All right. So we did one side. Let's do the
other
second side. We got to do the other side. All right. So then you'll step the left leg forward if you're standing. You'll step the right leg back. Teachers are also, we got to work at it to stay nice and balanced too, don't we? All right, so then you take a nice breath in, squeeze your legs towards the center. That engages the muscles that Heather was talking about. Keep your heart open. And then as you exhale, you can bend the left knee this time and do it. Even if you have limbs, you can let the arms kind of hang and just keep your heart open. So we're working more to keep openness in this whole upper chest area. Shoulder blades down the back, which supports your spine and your neck being open, yeah? So everything that we do here is to help the upper body, and it also strengthens the lower body. So you get a double whammy of good stuff, yeah? Good. And then as you're ready, you can start, if you're on the back, you step in with the back leg and come back to standing, and we're right back at mountain again. Okay, all right, so then let's do chair pose.
That's great.
Okay, this is called powerful pose or chair pose. I'll show you from the side because it's actually more effective. Okay, so we'll stand in mountain. This is the side view of mountain. All right, and Heather will be doing it on the chair. All right, so I'm gonna take a nice breath in. As I exhale, I'm gonna hinge. This is your hip crease here. So you never want to hinge at the low back. That's collapsing, not good for your back or your core. So as I inhale, I squeeze my legs towards the center. I hinge right here at my hip crease and take my bottom back like I'm gonna sit on a chair. That's a lot of work. Okay, but the weight is in my bottom part instead of on my knees, but if it bothers your knees, don't go deep, okay? Now I can take the arms forward, okay? I can keep hands on the hips. I can take the arms a little forward and up. I can take them up higher. And this is gonna make your legs strong, which helps support, again, the whole core and everything else. But then on the inhale, I press the legs, come back up, and that's called powerful pose, or often called chair pose. All right, and you showed it from the side, so
Yeah.
And again, I think it's a lot of work in the legs here, but when you're sitting on the chair, it's a lot of work in the core. And again, if your core and back are strong, that's going to help support everything else that's going on in your body.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so we did chair. Oh, tree. Okay. All right, so now I'm by a wall here because any of this could also be done in a wall. And again, if you want, you could have whatever is available to you, say on this left arm. I could be here. Let me show you first. Let me show you a tree standing here in the middle of the mat. I'll shift my weight to the left, come up on the ball with the right foot, and open the right hip by turning the leg out. Now you can stay there, or you can bring the right heel to the right ankle area, or to the calf, or to the upper inner thigh. My balance is a little off today, but let's see. Good. And then I like to do this pose called so what, with the so what arms. And I need the wall. Okay, I need the wall today. It's like that some days, yeah? So I'm going, and it's fine. I'm going to open up this right hip, place this right leg, okay? And then, see how nice it is against the wall? So this is really quite nice. And the same thing, we're opening the chest, opening the sternum, collarbones are lifted, and then here, you sort of take your shoulder blade tips back to the wall, and that's gonna really feel strong and nice. So being at a wall is a really good thing, right? And Heather?
I'm demonstrating in the chair everything really that Lucy's doing.
Yeah.
Now, if this is a bit tiring for the right leg, I'm just saying, then if you have a block or a blanket and you want to take your the outside of your foot and prop it on the block and then let your knee open, then you've got that support. Then your hip, the muscles around your hip can soften and relax. And that kind of sends the message to your whole body that, you know, all's well, you're having a good time.
Yeah.
And then you could extend your left leg forward and have your toes lifted. And then again, same thing. Do the so what arms. You could bring one hand or both hands together in front of your heart.
Or the palms.
Or palms to your heart. And your heart lifted.
Good. All right, now on the other side, let me show you on the chair. You could also, if I didn't have a wall, but I had a piece of furniture. So like when I teach online courses, many people at home don't have yoga chairs, but they've got, you know, a desk where they have a cabinet close to them. So when you're, you can hold on to whatever you want, and then you can do side two. And again, this feels really, so see, I don't even have to hold. I could even bring so that my hip is against here. And it's almost like you just need this little bit of a touch. Now I can do anything I want with my arms, yeah? So it helps you with balance, just having something to connect to, all right? That's side two. Let me show you one other way with the chair, which is pretty cool. And that is, they actually do this in the osteoporosis class. So that's a version, I'm coming close, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So there's a version of tree on the chair where if your balance is kind of off, then you, and again, whatever you do with the arms, it doesn't matter. Just keep your heart lifted and opening from the heart and just enjoying that sense of opening. All right, so that's tree in a couple of different ways, standing at the wall, on the chair. You can even do it on the ground, but you won't be able to see well to do that, so we won't do that. Lying on your back.
Yeah.
All right,
I
so
think we're ready
that's
for
tree.
Sukhasana.
Yes, I think that sounds good. All right, so now, for those who decided to stand, for Sukhasana twist, Heather's going to do it on the chair. I'm going to show you if you were doing mat class, yoga mat class, you would now come down to sit. And I'm sitting on a folded blanket. So something, you know, if you have a small pillow at home, wherever you are, but this is a yoga blanket. It's pretty thick. It gives you about, 2 inches, 3 inches of height. And sitting on that helps to tilt the pelvis forward. And that's good for your back. That's good for your hips. And so those are all good things. All right, so we sit with our shins and ankles crossed, and then we can open our hips. So I'm going to lean to one side and sort of spiral the thigh down, like I'm moving like this. I'm doing this with the upper leg. I'm taking it down and setting it out. And that's going to open up the hip, an internal rotation of the upper inner thigh. And then while I'm here, now we're going to do together, we can do
Our spinal
spinal twist. All right. So again, I'm going to be not without so much arms. Yeah. So I'm going to inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, twist. I'm twisting on the axis of my spine. All right. And I just don't have to worry about my arms. And if I have them, I'm going to take the left hand inside the left knee, because that keeps me focused on using the core and keeping the heart open. But then inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, twist to the right. And we do that 2 more times. This is dynamic movement with the breath. It's nice to start and finish. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist right. Left.
Whichever way we did.
Yeah, whatever way we didn't do before. But inhale, come back to the center and take a breath. All right, what's next?
Now it's time, I think, to rest.
Yeah, I think it is too. So if you're on the mat, you can take your legs out, and we call this seated windshield wiper poses. You want to show them seated windshield wiper poses?
So you could have your legs extended in the chair and do windshield wipers that way. You could have your knees bent and do,
Yeah.
movement from your upper thighs.
Yeah, because that opens up your hips a little more, it just settles
Totally.
everything down. All right, and then for the next one is called constructive rest, and it's a precursor to final resting pose in the class. So if you come down to the floor, then coming down to the floor, and again, if I don't have upper limbs, then I'm going to come down, and I want to be sure that my shoulder blades are firmly on my back and there's spaciousness between the top of my earlobe and the top of my shoulder. And then I bend my knees and just allow everything to sort of settle down. If I want, I can even take my feet a little further apart and let my knees sort of, move in towards the center. Some people like this. And so Heather's in the chair.
So in the chair, I put a blanket behind my back. If you have a hard backed chair, you might appreciate that softness along your backside. And so you snuggle your back up against the chair, and my knees are bent just like Lucy's. She's laying down. And then you can even bring your feet forward a little bit. You could play with this pose. It's so nourishing for your body. So you could put blocks underneath your feet. You could put a pillow underneath your feet, so your legs are essentially supported at your hips, and then you can rest your shoulders back and close your eyes if you want, and just take a few nice deep breaths here. Coming in and out through your nose. You could be here for 3-4 breaths. Stay here longer if you'd like.
And if you're on the ground, you can extend your legs out for what we call final resting pose. For some people, they just like to rest here in this, what's called constructive rest. It's like the final rest, but you have your knees bent. So you could do, again, several breaths here. You could stay here in a regular yoga class. We usually have 8 to 10 minutes of this final resting pose. But because of this short class, we're just going to do it for a breath or two. And was there anything else you wanted to show on the chair for that, Heather? Or is that
Just being sure that you're comfortable here. Like Lucy said, this time is a time of rest and letting your body essentially relax. And so being sure that you're warm enough, you know, having a blanket close by. Some people like that. Sometimes it's nice just to be kind of cozy and staying here for a few breaths, you know, just feeling that beautiful cadence of your breath. Nice deep breath in as you fill up the lungs and release the breath out. Letting your muscles soften, letting your face relax.
And then once you've been there for a few breaths, and once we're ready to come up, I think it's about that time. We're assuming we've been here for 5 lovely minutes. All right, now to come out if you're on the ground, whatever the best side is for you to roll to, and if you have another way to get up, please use it. But we teach rolling to the side, and then if you have any upper residual arm, you can press into that, stretch the top leg out, come back, and then you can come back to sitting. And if there's some other way that you get up off the ground, please feel free to do that in a way that feels good for you. And then we're both back sitting upright for the end of the class, which is now. So if you want, if you have whatever's available, if you want to place it over your heart, or if you want to hug yourself, or if you just want to sit with your heart open, please do that. And we want to thank you for being here today. And we're delighted to share this practice with you today. So thank you very much. Namaste.
Namaste.
Wujin Yogic Speak says, when the light in me meets the light in you, we are one. So namaste.
Namaste.